Okay, actually, this is really fun. I am so glad, Steve, that you came through at the right second that you did because we're playing with tests. And your dad was one of the original guests on the show 10 years ago. And for you to come in, for you to walk in and test it now in glorious 4K, this is going to be fun. So we'll talk about that in a sec. All right, stick with us. Stephen Thompson, your dad. Now the show. You didn't know that he was on the show, and I sent it to you. I don't know 2 years ago or something.
Probably, yeah.
So he was on the show 10 years ago and told various stories. He was actually, one of your father was one of the inspirations for the show, like from the get-go. Because I was like, all right, cool. Like there's so many interesting characters that come in and get coffee, and your father, of course, was one of those interesting characters.
He was a character.
Yeah.
He made an impression.
He was great. He's great. And I'll put the, I'll say the YouTube stuff, like and subscribe, and I'll put the link for his episode down below. Or I probably can't put it on the tile. You could do that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, he told a bunch of stories, and it was just it's cool. It's a cool episode. But now you come in virtually every morning and come grab your latte, and it's kind of 10 years later, and I know you always get a large latte. Why do you always get a large latte?
I guess because I have to work all day and it keeps me going. I don't know.
Well,
tastes good.
Tastes good. There you go. Boom. It tastes good. But one of the interesting things is that you are such a typical customer of the coffee shop and St. Rock in general, because you work from home. So like for you to come in and hang out and hey, what's going on? Da 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 da. This is like your like during your weekday human interaction, I guess. And so many people say that.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
Like that's.
I work from home and I live a few blocks from here, so I just come in every morning and interact with the other humans.
Yeah, because I would imagine that now that we're 5 years past. Well, you were working from home before COVID.
Yeah, I've been working home for years. Yeah.
And what do you do?
I'm a lawyer. I do patent law.
Patent?
So I write patent applications. So if you need an invention, if you have an invention and you want to get it patented, come to me and I'll help you get it patented.
You're also a notary.
I am a notary. I don't really notarize a lot of things, but I am also a notary.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short, man.
Yeah.
No,
thanks for telling everyone.
Yeah. And we've been joking since he comes in for coffee. I could get him to notarize stuff because everybody wants it. The amount of notarizing I've had to do here in the past 2 years is absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
So like what we need to do now is we have to notarize a letter to the Sewage and Water Board that we're not using them for trash pickup, so they can take it off of our bill because they're charging us an additional $40. And I still need you to my wife's going to print it out, and I need you to get notarized that. But it's like incredible. I don't know what does the notary do? Why did they even need this? What is this?
It's just a way of, it ensures that the signature on the document is your signature without having to prove it.
It's like a dude that came in to get coffee said he saw me sign this, so we're all good.
Well, a dude who came in to get coffee and has a law degree. It's funny, if you have a law degree, they just let you be a notary without having to take the test or anything. If you don't have a law degree, you have to take a test that's apparently kind of difficult.
To be a notary. Oh, but once you're an attorney, you're just
yeah, they don't care.
You're like, oh, go ahead, you're good.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything from your dad's episode off the top of your head? I can remind you of a story.
Not really. I haven't watched it in a while.
Okay, so one of the stories that stick out to me is that they went to because your dad grew up in the French Quarter, and they went to the French Market back when the French Market was a grocery store or a food market for the French Quarter. And we talked a lot about this place and how it has been a market and whatnot over the past. And he said, yeah, they would go on Sundays. He and his friend would go down to the French Market and buy a crab Am I
A live crab?
a live crab?
Yeah.
You know
story.
this. You've heard the story, all right?
Yeah.
So you eat a live crab.
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard it.
It's a great story. Come on, tell. What's the rest of the story? Live crab.
Well, they would take the crab down to St. Louis Cathedral,
Mm-hmm.
and they would sneak it into the little thing where you put your hand in the holy water,
The holy water
and
font.
then they would, there were kids that would go hide and let people walk up there and stick their hand in there and wait until the crab got one of them.
which I really enjoyed because it's like a fun, because I mean, here's the St. Louis Cathedral in my world is such a, historic and, like stately place, and so like for your dad though, growing up in the quarter, it was just their parish church and just,
Yeah.
goofed
It was
around.
It was their church.
Yeah, not that I guess putting a crab in a holy water font is good for anybody's church, but but in the St. Louis Cathedral from the French Market is such a classic, fun New Orleans thing,
Yeah, he liked to tell that story a lot.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a great story. It's fun. Thank you so much for coming in every morning for coffee. I'm glad you enjoyed a latte, and I always look forward to
very good.
shooting the breeze with you every day.
Likewise.
It's fun to be able to tell those types of things, and it's funny because like if we're chatting, I'll be like, oh yeah, your dad used to do this, that, and the other with news, and you're like, oh yeah, he worked in the news. Yeah, I worked in the news. Yeah, it's.
He lived above the bar that is now Harry's Place, or is it Harry's Corner?
I think it's Harry's Corner. Yeah.
Okay, then it used to be Harry's Place a long time ago, and it changed name to Harry's Corner.
But that's where he grew up.
No, he lived there as like a 20-something-year-old. He lived in an apartment above it. And years ago, he was friends with a guy who owned it. And so my earliest Mardi Gras memories are being a little kid about the size of this table with all the adults in that bar.
Come on, you see.
It was eye-opening.
Eye-opening. Eye-opening. That's freaking great. Stephen, thank you so much for coming by. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Take care.